But again, I don't know if you talked to her beforehand and tell her what to bring.
I think she's still here.
Okay. So that's that, and,
Yes.
you ready to cover that later?
I'm ready. I've been out doing stuff. How's it been going? Is the absentee ballot's been
It's coming in, and you know, people can vote now.
Oh,
They can come in now.
and vote.
That's what when I
I
announced
didn't know that.
when I announced absentee ballots are available,
So people come in and
you can
vote.
come in and
instead
vote
of-
right now.
You getting a lot of people participating?
I get stragglers outside of the permanent AVs. I get people off the street. Probably not many, maybe 2 a day, 1 or 2 a day.
So they don't, you got the election box thing or what?
So they come in, they vote absentee. Matter of fact, why don't you come visit me and I can explain the process to
Okay,
you.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Tomorrow. You want to come tomorrow or Friday?
Thursday, I come tomorrow after
Okay,
work,
come
is all right?
tomorrow. I'll be here.
Okay,
And I'll explain the whole absentee process.
okay.
Okay.
So you don't,
But people can come right now. And to make a long story short, but I want to explain it in full detail to you tomorrow.
okay,
They can come in and vote absentee. Once they vote, I lock the ballot up and it won't be,
Processed.
it won't be processed until election day.
okay.
But they voted.
They voted.
Yeah,
okay,
they don't have to
okay.
go to the poll.
So you gotta put it in manually yourself?
So I just enter it in the computer and then I lock it up. It's sealed, I'm looking sealed. I lock it up and then on election day, I deliver it to our every county board for them to run it through.
Oh, they're running through the
Yeah.
tally.
So I don't do anything with it other than enter it into the computer. That's all I do with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll deliver it, like I said, to the AB county board on the day of. And they'll actually
Oh,
count. But yeah, people can vote now.
Okay, that's,
They can vote now.
they
They can
still
vote
call that
absentee.
absentee, okay.
It's still, yep, it's still called
Oh,
absentee. They can
that's
vote
what
now.
I get used
And
to.
then they don't have to go to the poll, but it's totally up to them.
Once you'll get a lot of people coming in before the day.
I get a lot of people like that Monday before the election.
They come to you when you clerk office?
Yeah, they come that day a lot. It's not a lot to where I can't handle it.
Oh, it's not
But-
sporadic, just here and there?
Yeah, it's just here and there, but it's pretty steady on that day.
Okay, that's how that works.
But yeah, let your people know that they're available. So,
Scott, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. Okay. Okay. It's 5:30. Get going a little bit.
what commissioner here we got?
She said she had to run somewhere, she'll be right.
Anyway.
How you doing, baby? So,
Okay, let me know when you're ready. I can wait.
I'm ready.
You ready now?
Yeah, so I'd like to call the personnel finance meeting to order. First thing we have on the agenda is matrix, which I guess we'll just email us that,
I'll get it emailed.
to us, we can go over that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have personnel update.
Just hired someone for the accountant position. She started on this past Monday, which was the 14th. Her name is DeAndre Eason. She was a temp with Robert Half, and we just decided to hire her.
Okay, good to have her aboard. She's the new accountant.
Correct.
She'll work with finance team.
Right. At this particular moment, she's like in a progressive stage. So right now, she's only doing accounts payable. However, she's going to integrate into the payroll position as well, and then more accounting duties. So each pay stub should get like a pay stub increase with each grade that she completes.
What's her name again?
DeAndre
DeAndre.
Easton.
Thank you so much for that information. Like to have new hires, new people coming to the city. Okay, next thing we have is discussion funds for My Brother's Keeper.
You know, you guys
he had discretion, city manager's not here today, so we got
Okay, I was
information.
just a quick question though. I was just wondering if in fact it was for the city's finances or the income tax.
For the income tax, we put that on the
Okay,
agenda.
they're two separate, I didn't know they were two separate things, but okay.
For the city.
We talked before we talked.
The personnel, we're talking about personnel update, right? Number 2, right?
No, I'm sorry, you talking about, you wanna talk about them two?
That was what she was talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
You wanna
we
talk-
can't
that's
talk
right,
about it?
forgive me.
No, she
forgive me.
she gave an update on
Update.
personnel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Continue on.
Yeah.
It was new hires. My question was, with the city income tax and our general, there being two separate things, is the new hires for the city income tax or
On the regular payroll, just,
our regular payroll, which Plant Moran takes care of? I just want a differentiation between.
No, right now I'm actually doing the payroll for the city. We had an accounts payable person, however, that person resigned over a year ago. So during that process, we tried to hire people, they didn't work out, but this is the person that's replacing her.
Okay, thank you.
Also, just an update with the city manager resumes, did you receive those?
yes, I'll give you how we gonna proceed on that.
And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Are we privy to those as well?
Yes, I'll give what you. And,
Thank you.
next, thank you, Ms. Thompson. Next, we have discussion fund for my brother's keeper. And we got my brother's keeper summit coming up November 1st, right?
Yes.
November 1st, and my brother's keeper is seeking funds for that event. And to allocate some money toward it to help out.
Chairman Isom, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
I was on a conference call yesterday, actually a couple back to back, with the people's, oh gosh, the names. The ones that are coming in to try and train some of the youth in the community about organizing and all of that. It's going to be a big day's event.
Mm-hmm.
Please forgive me, I'm kind of tired, I'm running. I had to run to the radio station before I got here. I talked with our lady over finances, Ms. Rhonda,
Okay.
to try and see where we could possibly get these funds
Mm-hmm.
for it to help out with this event, because there's a lot of mouths we're gonna have to feed.
Okay.
Now, in times past, with the few little bitty summits that we've had,
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Adams came out of pocket. She can't do it this trip, it's too many people for me.
Okay.
As well as the commission out of Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
I had in times past asked the question of how we can put aside funding for my brother's keeper, since it was something that we as a body agreed upon and passed a resolution to actually accept. The mayor has been pretty much dormant, waiting for him to submit a statement to be publicized along with a press release that's going out. Have a young lady, she's working out of Wisconsin, that's been helping us with this event, putting things together for over a year now. As she works with One Love Global.
Mm-hmm.
And Angela has been a big help too. I asked Miss Rhonda where we could get these funds, and she said that we could not spend the taxpayers' dollars for that, and I understand that. But, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the residents of Benton Harbor, because these are our children in the community that we're talking about. We very seldom give back.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that have to pay to use to park at Gene Clark Park are not Benton Harbor residents, taxpayers. We get in free. What I've learned today, after hearing from ex-mayor Bernaro is that he actually set up a line item that was funded for the work that he put actually $100,000 towards, with One Love Global being the fiduciary. And he said it was essentially a drawdown account where invoices were submitted through the mayor's office of that faith-based initiative, then to the finance department. And he just said, let us know if there was anything else he wanted to do. But it was very interesting that he said that the now mayor discontinued the whole program. And that's sad, because see, we are not going to sit in these seats, which is why I've been holding on to my brother's keeper outside of the city entity itself, because it's for our children, and we don't know who is going to land in these seats. And we just want it to be somebody that cares about the youth in this community, to make sure that this work continues. As we try to teach them to step up and be the leaders that they're going to need to lead their own future. I found something interesting within our city charter about established funds. And we, as a body, have the right to actually establish exactly what he stated. And we can put forth the line. I guess what I'm requesting of you is to request the city manager to put forth a resolution for us to do just that. And if we have to use, I don't know, I was hoping that Ms. Rhonda was going to be here, but
What did she say about
she doesn't know about all of this. I just got this from Mr. The ex-mayor today.
We got a finance person here. Do you know anything about the funds that can be allocated
Charter
to
too, yeah.
how this work?
I'm not 100% sure on how that will work, but what I do know is when we did the car show, since you can't use the money for the government funds to fund car shows, we did do a fiduciary, which Cornerstone Alliance was our fiduciary for it. So it wasn't through the city funding, it was through another company funding with the 501(c) account.
Oh, okay. In that case, we shouldn't have a problem, because if One Love Global is spending 5, we can match it.
Can we do something like possible?
I never heard of One Love Global.
No, I'm talking about, like you just talked about.
One Love
car
Global is
show.
a nonprofit organization that's been in existence since, I think, 15 years now. But they're out of Lansing. And the CEO of One Love Global just happens to be the mothership of all of the My Brother's Keepers communities in Michigan. And she is a 501(c)(3).
So I'm not 100% sure, because I think what Commissioner Adams was saying, that the ex-mayor actually took city funding and put into the 501(c). That I'm not really for sure how that worked.
How did the car show work?
We got donations from business owners in the community.
Okay. Well, we've gotten a few of those, but it's not enough to cover the cost.
How much money do you need to?
We just need to match what they're spending, because we've opened it up to not only the children that are coming, and some that are coming from Detroit, Saginaw, and Flint. We have some coming from the college that are going to already be there. I yet have to take flyers down to the charter school. We expected some people.
We need it. Oh, yes, Clerk Thomas.
Commissioner Adams, so you wanted, Commissioner Iceland to direct city manager to draft a resolution?
A resolution for us to
What
create a fund, if that's what we have.
part of the charter are
Yeah,
you
what
referencing?
section?
Go to page 25, top of the page,
25.
established fund.
I'm just making a note to let them know.
Okay, and you could probably go back to 23.
Establishment of funds, you said?
Yes,
Page 25, okay.
and that's how the mayor of
We got
Lansing
the
actually, he created a line item.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I would ask for expediency, though, that we can get that taken care of ASAP, even if we have to call a special meeting to do so. Thank
Send them
you.
an email.
So, Mr. Adams, have you reached out to Wilson Chandler or George Bell?
Yes, and I didn't get an answer, but we have some other people. I've heard from, the Obama Foundation and Mr. Michael Smith. We were hoping was going to be able to join us since we couldn't get Obama, but they're sending, a recording. And we have some of the youth in the, like the Get Up, group of, Benton Harbor High that performed the song. They're going to be performing, as well as, DeAndre Hirschkin. He's pledged to perform for the community as well.
Well, I'll reach out to Wilson and George. I got, Wilson.
I have your information, sweetie. I've been in touch with them. Yeah, we pretty much have a program together, and everything is on a timely schedule because it's not just about having fun. This is going to be a learning experience for our young people, our youth, and how to get them together to become organized, to become organizational with and about themselves and amongst themselves as community leaders.
Yeah, but I still reach out to them still.
I have.
You need volunteers for this event?
Oh, yes, oh, yes. Yes, and we want more volunteers because we're breaking these youth up into different groups, and we really encourage them to become a facilitator of that group and charge, whatever topic they choose. And we would love to have some more if we have some willing participants in the house.
Yeah.
Yay, nay,
So how,
yay, nay.
do you know how many volunteers you need?
We just want to make sure that we have more than enough. And we're not turning anybody down because volunteer services, we can always find something for you to do.
This event is first on Friday.
It's going to be the first of its kind in Michigan.
Friday, November 1st.
Shoot, yeah,
Thank you, Commissioner Adams, for
Yes.
spearheading this.
you're welcome.
Next on the agenda, discussion, illegal dump site removal budget. I put this on the agenda. I just want to know how much money, I noticed last Monday at the commission meeting, how much money we were spending on illegal dumping.
Interesting.
And just, I think the bill for, last month was $26,190 just for that month. But from May to, since the legal dumping started from May 19 to October 19th, we spent $121,000, right? I'm saying this.
That's right.
$121,081.25 just for May through October. So I just wanted to see, is it been effective? I don't know. Can we get pictures of this?
Can you ride around and see?
I will.
Did you get a report from the city manager?
No, I didn't. I looked today before I got here. I didn't see nothing. So I know I asked about the locations. I know we just spent a lot of money, so taxpayer money. I don't know, is this taxpayer money?
Wow,
Any
of
grants?
course.
Could you say that amount again, please?
$121,000.
Of course it is. It's our money. Through the
Yeah,
chair.
so, anybody want to talk about that?
I sure do. Thank you. It seems like we've been spending that much for several years now, or over $100,000 on just illegal dumping. It seems like we should have been able to nip more in the butt to where we're not incurring that type of cost, because if we could put up cameras, that we're spending our camera money. We should put cameras up. I mean, even to, as I was coming down here, the end of Colfax, for some reason, I know it ain't nothing but probably a hater. It probably needs some Gatorade or something, but someone just dropped trash off at the bottom of my street on Colfax and Lake. Now, if there was a camera, my cameras watch my perimeter. It can't go down the hill. But if there was one up on that building down there, and I asked Officer Director McGinnis if in fact he had the authority to go down there and talk to anybody that's in charge of the, I think it's a federal building of the Department of Social Services, to see if in fact they could put a camera up on their building, which would also, until the time that we turn it back into a two-way street, a whole bunch of tickets can be given out, instead of running around fining the folks for cutting grass and other things. It's some greater fines that should be handed out, such as going up one ways and dumping. We could catch some of these corporates if we put some cameras up in the right place, and we probably wouldn't keep incurring, over. And you put that with what we pay the trash contract, we spending close to $1 million a year. Please.
Anybody else want to speak on this subject?
I'm bringing it back to one of the solutions we talked about. Recycling, repurposing, reusing. We need to catch up with the rest of the world. We need to create some jobs for our ex-felons, for our undereducated, uneducated, whatever. People that need jobs, we need to clean some of that up. I just read an article the other day about garbage. How much garbage the community put out, and what they were doing with it, they made energy out of. Garbage. We are too far behind not to try to catch up. That's another way. If we spending this kind of money for tires, and we have avenues to create recycled tires. I mean, I don't know why all of these things is happening here. Some of this don't make sense. I think it's double. I don't know. It just don't make sense. It's got the same date, and I don't know what this document really shows. So something don't seem right. I'm just looking at it and it don't make sense. Maybe if somebody would tell me what the AP and the INV and the other numbers mean, maybe it'll make sense, but right now, I can't get it.
It's through the accounts payable department, and the INV is invoices.
So invoices actually came in and were approved,
That's correct.
and this is for accounts payable.
Yes.
And the number behind the name?
Invoice number, I'm not sure.
Okay. This kind of money, we should have this kind of money going out to any one person. They should be trying to employ some Benton Harbor residents, not their family, but Benton Harbor residents.
Do we have a contract or something with Fast Act? Is that?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's no
Fast Act is the one that's getting the tires, right?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to code enforcement.
Well, if we don't get a handle, they've been run rickshaw on us for the last 30, 40 years. We better get a handle on it now. If this is a new day and business is not as usual, we need to get a handle on it. So ask those questions, Chair. Do we have a contract? How many times can they come and pick it up?
Email, we got a contract with
Fast.
Fast Act. It's, I
Through
see
the chair.
Anthony Hart's
All that's irrelevant, all that's irrelevant.
Through the chair, I think that, our code enforcement officer that was here the other day.
Yeah.
I think that she spoke, on this, and since she's not here, only she could answer it. I think she gave a differentiation between this person and somebody else that came in lower for doing something that, cleaning up the alleys,
Oh, okay.
with dumping or something. But I look at this, and it reminds me of an article that I was reading in the paper in the township. As much as I want to see our people work, it was wonderful to see the gentleman that got the contract to do the streets. He was able to, and probably had good enough credit to go and buy him some real big machinery to, recycle as he go along. But the next day, I saw some of our guys, one of the smaller contractors, that just happened to be of color, with about 8 guys, which means that 8 people were gonna feed their families, at the end of the week. That's all good, but I saw them actually working like Hebrew slaves, and we are in the 21st century here, and I guess we just need to keep up. I read in the paper where the township is buying some new trucks. And they just happen to be the ones with arms, and now we got our stuff closer to home. I think it was like $280,000. So when the time comes for budgeting, we need to just keep that in mind.
Thank you. Mr. Hart.
Thank you. I don't have the privilege to look at the bill list, but I think, despite who's getting the contracts and who's making the money, I think the bigger issue for you all is to direct the city manager to come up with a plan on how he gonna fix this, and give him a deadline and a timeline on how he gonna do it, when he gonna do it. I heard her idea, great. I heard her idea, but it's a conversation right here. Are we gonna put something up under him to get him to move forward? And I think that should be in form of directive, because you said this has been happening for the last few years. Hopefully this is one of his priorities. One thing I've been waiting on is, what is his plan? This is the Personnel and Finance Committee. I was hoping to have something from him by now to see what he got going on. What's his vision? He's been here long enough to have something. Do anybody have that? As far as his vision, his plan, his financial plan? Or are we gonna go back under again? Because with spending this amount of money with no plan, you can't keep spending this. Eventually you're gonna go back under. So I think, we all need to give him a directive. Darwin is gone now. Somebody says we doing stuff different now.
We are.
Right.
So how different are you doing it?
Wait and see.
I've been waiting. I'm not impressed. I'm just waiting. I'm
Not
waiting to
sure.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
We know.
see. Okay, you don't know.
Kind of straighten that thought out.
That's for sure.
City manager is not a permanent city manager, and he's in here to stopgap some of the problems that we were having. So that's his goal right now, is to try to fix some of those things that have gone bad.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even had the time to come up with too many plans. He had close to 9 resolutions on the table that was passed by the body, and nothing was done. So he had a plate full. So, I just want you to hear that, because I know you haven't been here.
Yeah, he got a play for. What are you talking about?
Everything that was gone wrong in the city,
Yeah.
that is
So
happening,
what are the main priorities? Because right now, you talking, what are the priorities that he has? You said he got 9 resolutions.
Point of order, hold up.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Anybody else? You wanna come back up, Mr. Hart?
will you put this on back on the agenda?
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Dunn?
Yeah, I do.
Say something.
I do. And I'll be done. To me, it's irrelevant to talk about this if you ain't gonna direct him to do nothing about it. We can make excuses. He's the city manager right now until he gets somebody. He needs to be held accountable on this money being spent, also. I don't care if he got 20 resolutions he's working on. He needs to be working on the the commission main priority, but evidently since he's temporary, it don't seem like y'all set the main priority. So he just loosey-goosey right now.
Well, I just,
You said you got 9 resolutions. I said main priorities. 9 resolutions ain't the main priorities.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak on this? Mr. Duncan?
Very
No, you don't want me to say anything right now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. This meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
yeah.